In 1974, Zaire, now called DR Congo, walked onto a World Cup pitch and lost 9-0 to Yugoslavia. 9. Goals. The entire continent watched. That result basically became the excuse the world used to dismiss African football for the next 30 years. Fast forward to right now, 2026, and DR Congo is back at a World Cup for the first time since that disaster. Except this time, they're ranked 46th in the world. They're the reigning African champions, and analysts are actually predicting they could reach the quarterfinals. So what changed? Everything. And no, it's not just they got better players. That's the lazy answer. The real answer is weirder, more specific, and honestly, kind of beautiful. 10. That's how many African teams are at this World Cup. Not 5 like in 2018 or 2022. 10. The tournament expanded from 32 to 48 teams, and Africa basically doubled overnight. But here's the subtle thing people are missing. This didn't just give Africa more teams. It changed the math of survival. In the new format, the top 2 from each group advance automatically, and the 8 best third-placed teams across all 12 groups also go through, which means a team can lose a game, not even top their group, and still make the knockouts. African teams historically collapse under must-win pressure. Remove that pressure? Different animal entirely. Let's talk money for a second. Not because football is about money, but because squad value is a rough shortcut for how many of these players face elite pressure weekly. Morocco's squad? Worth over 400 million euros. Senegal? Also over 400 million euros. For context, Achraf Hakimi alone, Morocco's right back, just won the Champions League with PSG this season, scored 3 goals, delivered 9 assists in 32 games, and walked into this tournament carrying that energy directly. That's not a player who's scared of big moments. He lives in them every 3 days, and it's not just Morocco. Ivory Coast's Seko Fofana plays in France. Egypt has Mohamed Salah, and yes, he's older now, but the man scored 25-plus goals in the Premier League this season. Antoine Semenyo at Ghana, 21 goals for Manchester City in 48 games. These aren't promising African talents. These are top-tier European footballers who happen to play for African nations. Here's the part that's hardest to put numbers on, but might actually be the most important. In 2022, Morocco beat Spain on penalties, then beat Portugal 1-0, then stood 90 minutes away from a World Cup final. Around 40,000 Moroccan fans inside stadiums, and honestly the entire African continent outside them, watched something shift in real time. We can do this stopped being motivational poster talk and started being an actual fact. That matters. Ask any sports psychologist. Belief is contagious, and it's also inherited. The players now representing Senegal, Ivory Coast, Algeria. They watched 2022 not as fans, but as professional footballers. They internalized it differently. Senegal's squad going into this tournament was described by multiple analysts as carrying the greatest expectation of any African team, including Morocco. That's not pressure anymore. That's fuel. Cape Verde. Population, 500,000 people. That's smaller than most cities. They've never been to a World Cup before in their entire history, and they qualified. They're ranked 69th in the world. They have limited football infrastructure compared to literally every other team at this tournament, and yet they showed up. And in their opening games, despite everything, they stayed competitive. Why? Because even Cape Verde now has players scattered across European leagues, bringing back tactical awareness and physical conditioning that simply didn't exist in African football 15 years ago. That's the real story underneath all of this. It's not one team getting lucky. It's an entire continent reaching a structural tipping point where the knowledge, the training, the tactical sophistication, it's all compounding at once across 10 different squads simultaneously. So next time you see Morocco, Senegal, Ivory Coast, or honestly even Cape Verde on your screen and feel surprised they're competing, just remember, in 1974, the world laughed at African football. In 2022, Morocco made Spain cry on penalties. In 2026, there are 10 African teams, most of them built on €400 million squads of European League regulars, playing in a format that actually gives them room to breathe. The question isn't whether African football has arrived. The question is, which one of these 10 teams is going to make you remember their name? Subscribe, because we're going to find out together.